Okay, good. We're good.
Okay, good.
Yay! Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Celebrity Big Brother 3 updates and spoilers. Sorry that we're late today, but we did have some technical issues and we had to restart the laptop. We are not the most technically savvy, but we try. Okay, so our house guests of the day are Deirdre Marie, Kim Bachman, Giselle P, Janie B, and Isaac Benjamin Songquist. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so, so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a great Sunday. Happy Puppy Bowl Sunday. Happy Kitty Bowl Sunday. Happy, I guess, Super Bowl Sunday if you're into that. Happy ice dancing Sunday. I'm so excited for ice dancing. But anyway, anything to take me away from this Big Brother house for a little while. It's a disaster. But before we get into it, I want to thank yesterday's super chatters as well, because you guys are amazing and that's a fantastic way to support this channel. So Jefferson Tucker, Alex Garza, Nina Sosa, Nini Girl, Linda Dupree, Lynn Hurst, Norm the Cat is back, and Catherine. Thank you all so much for your super chats. And I see we have some here already as well. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much for the super chat. And Jefferson says, props to Shayna for attempting to extinguish this dumpster fire with a bottle of wine. Will it work? We're going to talk about that. Thank you again. Jody Cortez, thank you so much for the super chat. And Jody says, hey, drama, show is making up for All Stars, right? All Stars was like boring, but this season has been delivering so far. Alex Garza, thank you so much for the super chat. And Candy, thank you so much for the super chat. And hi to Joey. Yay! Okay, so when we left off yesterday, the house was an absolute disaster, shit show, dumpster fire, car wreck. Like, there's no word that can truly describe cluster F. I don't know. Like, it was a mess. If you guys want the full story on that and you haven't already seen yesterday's spoiler, I really recommend watching yesterday's spoiler because we break it all down. But to put it briefly, so we can get back into the swing of things here, I don't want to relive this again, but to put it briefly, Carson, the HOH, was preparing to make his nominations, and he was planning on nominating Misha and Todd. Misha was his target. Now, it's risky to leave Todrick off the block if you are planning on targeting Misha, because he could easily win the power veto, pull Misha down, and then they're both safe and he can't split them up. But Carson wants to honor the deal that he made with Todrick during the HOH competition, so he is not planning on putting Todrick up on the block. Okay, I guess we can work with that. Like, let's keep going. So then, in order to ensure that Todrick would not use the power veto if he won, the Schwisters, or the Swisters, whatever, Carson, Cynthia, and Shayna, they offered Todrick a Final Four deal. And with their permission, he talked it over with Misha. There was just like so much wrong just in that little bit of game. But we're going to leave that because we talked about it yesterday. So I can't keep reopening this wound. So Misha and Todrick talked and they agreed Todrick should just act like he's taking that deal to go to the Final Four with Carson, Cynthia, and Shayna. He's just going to like cut Misha loose if he wins the power veto. But in reality, if Misha or Todrick win the power veto, Misha's coming off that block and they're just going to keep playing together. Okay, so then here's where things really took a turn. Todrick was telling Cynthia, I don't want to ditch Misha to work with someone like Shayna. So he's pushing that Shayna has been playing both sides, which is true. And I can't fault him for trying to turn Cynthia on Shayna. It makes sense. Sure, go for it. But like the problem that I have with what Todrick and Misha did, they then proceed to start attacking Shayna's character and her life outside of the game, talking about like her integrity and her morals in real life. Like, what the frig? Where do you get off saying all this? It's insane. But Cynthia is buying it all, hook, line, and stinker. Cynthia Misha and Todrick then go on to convince Carson that Shayna should be the one leaving this week because she's a snake. So then Cynthia was trying to explain herself or I'm sorry, did I say Cynthia? I meant Shayna. Shayna was trying to explain herself. And Cynthia and Carson, they are deciding to believe two people who have been openly targeting them the whole time over Shayna, who used the power veto on Carson last week and voted to keep Cynthia in the game over Chris in sync, her like number one ally. Have you lost your damn minds? Cynthia and Carson, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, this is absolutely insane the way they just take Todrick and Misha's word when they've been targeting them the whole time. Like, what? Chris Insync did not sacrifice his game for this. Okay. So that was the brief recap of what happened yesterday. So after things calmed down a bit, Carson went to the chocolate bedroom to talk to Shayna, and Carson's like, I really feel like you deserve to say your piece. I'm going to listen. Like, what do you got? So Shayna says, all right, in the beginning of the game, yes, I did feel my way out with different groups because I felt like I couldn't, you and Cynthia and Teddy were super tight. Todrick and Misha were super tight. Like, everybody was like off doing their own thing, and she was trying to find a group that she could really work with. So Shayna says, when the other side was in power, I told them what they wanted to hear. You got to do that sometimes. But I did not tell them to put you up because that is one of the huge things here that Misha and Todrick are trying to push, that Shayna was trying to get Carson up on the block and out of this house. So Shayna says, when it comes down to it, when it mattered, I used the power veto on you. I voted for Cynthia to stay. Yes. All of these things are true and they are logical, which is why it's like, oh my God, what are Cynthia and Carson thinking? Like, what? So Shayna says, even when I've talked to people outside our group, I've told you guys everything. I've guided you through this game because God knows what would be happening right now if Carson and Cynthia didn't even have at least a little guidance on how to play this game. I can't even imagine. But anyway, yeah, Shayna says, I even warned Cynthia, like last night, that the other side was going to try and come between us now that we have power. And she agreed, like, yeah, I'll come talk to you if I hear anything like that. And now Cynthia doesn't want to hear it from Shayna. So Shayna talks about how frustrating it is that Carson and Cynthia are just believing the other side over her. Yeah, it's hard for us to watch too. So Shayna says, if you put me up, I totally understand, do what you got to do. I've said what I can say. Like, there's not much more that she can say here. So they hug, and Carson's like, I'm sorry that we're in this position right now. And he says, no matter what, I still want to have margaritas with you out in the real world. That doesn't sound like, don't worry, I got your back. Like, I know you're loyal to me. It sounds like, see you later, you're out of here. So Carson reports back to everyone that he just talked to Shayna. It was, Shayna was really sweet to him and saying, like, I had your back, blah, blah, blah. But he says there's just too much other evidence that points to the contrary. Oh my God, stop. So a little later, Carson lets Misha and Todd know that he wants to stick to the original plan of nominating the two of them. Because before Misha is trying to make sure that Shayna is the target this week, but Misha is also trying to get herself and Todrick up on the block because she's like, yeah, we'll both be able to, like, we'll be guaranteed to play for the veto. So it's more of a chance that Shayna wouldn't win it and we can backdoor her. But like, the gameplay this week is very strange, unorthodox. I'll say it's unorthodox. So anyway, yeah, he's planning on putting up Misha and Todd, and he's banking on maybe Shayna won't get picked to play for the power veto. He doesn't want to just put her right up on the block. What happened to giving people a chance to fight for themselves? But, only one person is not going to be playing for the veto this week. So Carson says whoever wins the veto, take down Todd, or obviously if Misha wins, take herself down. And then we'll put up Shayna and send her out. Just quick and easy. So they're all on board with this plan. It's not them, right? So then Carson goes upstairs and the others talk crap about Shayna and her character and her clothing choices. Y'all are gross. I just can't. So a little later, Todrick and Misha are alone and they are jumping around. They're celebrating what they've done. They can't believe what they've accomplished here. For real though. Misha says that Todrick really came through for her. She did not know that he was going to do that. She's like, thank you. That was huge. Tadrick says, yeah, there's a chance that we're both gonna live. We're still gonna be here after this eviction. And he's like, I think maybe moving forward, we should make a Final Four deal with Carson and Cynthia. That sounds like a nightmare to me. I don't like it. So Misha says, well, I already promised a Final Four to Todd and Lamar, and you know how much Misha has been talking about her mother effing integrity and how she plays an honest game. So Todrick's like, yeah, but I don't even think that Todd and Lamar even really want to be here. So, like, everyone else has participated in this show in some way, shape, or form, except for Todd and Lamar. So he says, if you just explain the situation to Todd and Lamar, like, oh, Carson and Cynthia saved us this week, so we're gonna have to move forward with them, they would understand. Who do you think you are? Ew. Oh my God. Okay. So then they have the nomination ceremony, and this was unusual. We did not get 100% confirmation on who went up on the block. I'm thinking it's safe to assume that it was Misha and Todd because that's what Carson said he was going to do, like, not long before they had the nominations, and I didn't hear otherwise. So I guess we'll have to wait until tonight's episode to get total confirmation on that. But I'm assuming that Misha and Todd are up on the block. And again, at this point, the target is Shayna. Okay, so then Shayna asks Cynthia to chat. So they're in the chocolate bedroom. And Shayna says, I just want to have a calm chat with you. And Cynthia's like, yes, me too. She apologizes for getting emotional earlier because it really did get quite heated between the two of them. So Cynthia asks, did you know that Carson and I were going up on the block last week? And Shayna says, no, I did not. I did not know. Honestly, I don't even remember. I don't know if Shayna knew or not. I will say, even if she knew, she wasn't like pushing for it to happen. But Shayna's telling her side of the story again. You know, I was feeling people out early on, trying to get information. And she says, I always brought the info back to you guys. Yeah. And she says, I had to tell people in power what they wanted to hear. It doesn't mean I was actually going to follow through on that. So then she was talking about the plan from last week to go against Misha and Todrick. She was talking about how her and Chris in sync were like, we need to make a move here, even though Chris knew that it could be him leaving. But they went with it. You know, she saved Carson with the power veto, and then she voted for Cynthia to say. So Shayna says, we finally have power. And now Todrick is trying to turn us against each other. Mm-hmm. So Shayna is also mentioning how Todrick tried to make a final two deal with her in the event that Misha was evicted because he wants to have a backup plan, which is true. And she also did report this back to the Schwisters at the time. Are they forgetting that? Yeah. So anyway, Cynthia brings up, well, Carson and I have been on the block and you haven't. Why is that? Is that because you were working with them? Like, why else would you not have been up on the block? Oh my God. And Shayna says, yeah, you two have been up on the block by the hand of the people that you're believing over me. What? And she says, you guys have been up on the block because they've been targeting Carson this whole time. Of course, they're going to put Carson up there. So Cynthia says, well, it seems like you have been more concerned with yourself this whole time. I just don't understand how Cynthia can say that when Shayna used the power veto on Carson. Like, what? She did not have to do that. If she really only cared about herself, she could have just left the nominations the same. But Cynthia says, you have been working this house. And Shayna explains, yes, I was trying to talk to people and get numbers for us. I was trying to pull in Lamar and Todd so that we would be able to make some moves here. So Cynthia was just not getting it. Cynthia says, I believe in my heart that had it not flipped, had the tables not turned, that Carson and I would have been by ourselves. And if the other side was in power, you would have been over there. What? I actually feel like I'm insane. Like, I feel like I'm losing my mind watching this. Who does Cynthia think turned the tables last week? Who turned the tide? Because I remember seeing Shayna going against Misha's wishes to save Carson with the power of veto. Like, it's so simple. What, like, wake up. But there's no convincing Cynthia at this point. She is set. She has it in her mind that Shayna has betrayed her and Carson. So after this conversation, Cynthia immediately goes to Todrick and tells him all about it. Oh my god! Okay, so later, Carson and Cynthia chat, and Carson says he thinks that they're doing the right thing here. You're not though, BB. You're really not. Ugh, so they don't think it's possible that all these people would be lying about Shayna. So they agree that they trust Misha, even though they don't even really know her that well. They just don't think that she would go that low to make something up about someone just to win a game. At this point, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say about this because it's just trash. It's garbage. Throw it out. Get rid of it. Like, it's so bad. So at this point, Carson and Cynthia, like, if they follow through on this and get rid of Shayna, like, they deserve to lose. Like, that's so bad. So Carson says, also looking at Shayna's response, she was so flustered and so defensive. Yeah, I would be too. It's hard to stay calm when y'all are falling for all this crap, this garbage. So Cynthia says Misha has integrity. So Carson's like, yeah, better the devil you know than someone who's been deceiving you since day one. They're just not getting it. They're not getting it. So Cynthia and Carson, I will say they did not want Shayna to be alone all night because she was off on her own for quite a bit yesterday afternoon. So at one point, Shayna came up and brought some like wine and treats for them. And she was like, okay, just bringing you this stuff. Good night. And they were like, no, like stay and hang out. So they all hung out in the HOH room for a while. They had some wine. And it seemed like things were a little bit better. But I mean, this was not like a game thing. It seems like they're still on track to take out Shayna at this point. And anything could change. There's still time before the veto and the eviction. But right now, oh my God. Okay. So anyway, meanwhile, Misha and Todrick were plotting their next move. And they're trying to they're trying to decide, should we try to make a Final Four deal with Cynthia and Carson moving forward or no? You know, what is going to be better for us? So Misha says, look, if we get Shayna out this week and then like you win the HOH and then take out Carson, we run away with this thing. That is bleak. So Todrick says, yeah, but if we do that, we would be backstabbing Carson when he could have easily taken one of us out this week. So like, do we really want to do that? Which honestly is a little bit surprising coming out of Todrick's mouth. But anyway, they figure just like straight up game-wise, it's going to be harder to beat Cynthia and Carson in the end than it would be to beat Todd and Lamar. Because, I mean, what are Todd and Lamar even doing at this point? But they feel like if they take out Carson next, they're pretty much guaranteed final two. So taking it back to this week, for this week, they're like, all right, if Shayna somehow wins the power veto, which I mean is totally a possibility if she gets to play because she's won the last two, they want to make sure that Todd is going to be voted out. And there's only 4 people voting this week, which means it could be a tie situation. So they're thinking, you know, if it does come down to that, we might have to make a deal to secure the votes and make sure that Misha stays and Todd goes. So like we might have to make a Final Four deal. This is a disaster. So we'll see what happens today. It sounds like the house guests are going to be having a Big Brother sanctioned party. I don't know if this is like a halfway party, a Super Bowl party, or what, because we did just cross the halfway point the other day. But yeah, nothing like, no like game events should be happening today because the power veto is going to be live on tomorrow night's eviction episode. So we got to sweat it out here. I'm curious to see how this situation will evolve. Will Shayna be able to get back in Carson and Cynthia's good graces? Will she be able to freaking wake them up and make them realize what is going on here? I don't know, but we'll see. Oh,
hi.
hello! Yay!
Hi.
We have one of the team captains from the Puppy Bowl.
Oh,
Hello.
hellosies.
Oh my goodness. So,
Oh, are you on Team Rough or Team Fluff?
do I not have my pen in here?
Oh my goodness.
Where's my pen?
Chloe's on Team Fluff.
Yes, he is.
He's the captain of Team Rough.
Yes, he's such a sweet boy. So I want to thank all of today's super chatters because you guys are amazing, and we really appreciate it. Okay.
Wait, maybe I do.
Oh, all right. Well, let me get started here. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. Jody Cortez, thank you again so much. Okay. Alex Garza, thank you so much. Candy, thank you so much for the super chat. Vajrath, thank you so much for the super chat. And Vajrath asks, are you excited? Oh, wait. Vajrath said he's excited for the big game today, Puppy Bowl 18. I can't believe it's the 18th one already. That's amazing. And he said, oh, and I guess the Super Bowl is today too, right? That's how I feel. Like, it's Puppy Bowl, it's Olympics, and then it's like, oh yeah, the Super Bowl as well, I guess.
Baby boy.
Baby boy. Thank you again so much for the super chat. I guess there's an episode of Big Brother tonight or whatever.
Oh, you mean a dumpster on fire?
I'm really curious to see how they're going to edit it tonight. I hope they show
them falling on their heads so that we got confirmation that they're not mental.
No, I just hope they are honest in how this went down and like the personal attacks that Todrick and Misha made on Shayna.
How is it possible that somebody who's always crying about how he was bullied and everything is treating Shayna like this?
Hurt people.
I guess
he's got a lot of issues. Like, I'm seeing a lot of projection going on from Todrick. It's a lot. But anyway,
he needs to get his butt into therapy.
Yeah. But Laura G, thank you so much for the super chat. And Laura asked, why can't production interfere on this like they often do? You mean like a little hint in the diary room or something?
Who knows? They might be.
I mean,
I might not just be taking it.
I think they'd also like let something like this happen because it's dramatic and people are going to be like, what?
What's you going to say?
I don't know. Vajra.
What's mother going to say?
Yeah. Vajra, thank you again for the super chat. And Vajra says, what would you say separates a good BB villain you love to hate from a BB villain who's just aggravating to watch? I think the big thing for me is keeping it to the game. Yes. Like, what really bugs me
I said I'm out.
Yeah, is when people cross the line and make things personal and bring up people's personal lives when that has no place in this game. So what Todrick has done here, not a fan of it. Him trying to throw Shayna under the bus on a game level, I can respect it. But the personal stuff is just not cool. I don't like it at all. So I think that's what separates it for me. Yeah. I mean, if we're seeing some like crazy ass gameplay, like, yeah, bring it on for sure. Yeah. But not like that. That's a good question. Because I mean, every season needs a villain, right?
Of course.
For sure.
Well, I thought it was straight up Misha because she's just such a big physical threat and she is a stone cold BB killer.
AR Chan, 1785, thank you so much. And he says, it is only 3 weeks and it's only a game. Calm down, people. These people are just too much. I can't.
It's 3 weeks and it's a game, but when they pull out attacks like that, that's people's livelihood and reputation on the line.
Aura says Carson got to have one-on-ones with the queens on Drag Race this week, and when he walked into the room, he said, "Oh, hi." That's a fun little coincidence.
Yes.
All right. But anyway, we're gonna get going because we got some puppies and such to watch, and I'm also very hungry. So we will see you all for tonight's episode later. And thank you all for being here. So until next time, much love.